How's it going, guys? It's Doc. Bitcoin continues to show weakness throughout the week as we're getting more economic data, and I suspect this trend is going to continue on Friday. Plus, we're going to talk about Ripple and some pretty exciting news. Never thought I'd say this, but I actually now have a bullish outlook for Ripple this cycle. But before we get started, welcome back to the channel. For those that are new here, my name's Doc. I'm a resident physician throughout the day, and at night, I take you guys on my investing journey. Guys, we got some new data, and it really, I hate to say this, I'm not trying to be bearish or spread FUD, but I actually am concerned, and I'm going to kind of spell this out for you here in the video. Bitcoin not showing a lot of strength here. Right now, we're on the 4-hour chart. We've been flirting in the 94s. We actually got a wick down to the 92.5. Probably folks just are market makers trying to flush people out, but this is showing weakness, and I'm going to tell you why. We look here on the daily chart. We've been trading in between this channel, not looking good. We're actually working our way towards the bottom side of this channel, which is around 90,000. This paper was just published by Reuters a couple, I think, earlier today, and it shows that our alt season is probably going to be delayed. So Fed minutes show Wall Street pushed back expected end of balance sheet drawdown. What does this mean in plain English? Well, we know that right now we're in quantitative quantitative tightening. So what quantitative tightening is when the Fed reduces their balance sheet, right? They flush liquidity out of the market. And this is bad for risk assets like Bitcoin. So you can see right here, we've already dropped our balance sheet from approximately 9 trillion down to a little less than 7. I think we're technically right at 6.85 trillion. This is bad for risk assets historically. You can see in the pandemic, we super went into quantitative easing. Quantitative easing is when the Fed increases its balance sheet. This is really good for altcoins. Yes, Bitcoin too, but really, really good for altcoin. So the reason that this report was bad is they originally thought that they were going to end quantitative tightening in May. Okay. So they were thinking May is when we were going to kind of bottom out on our quantitative tightening, and they're giving the end target of 6.375 trillion. That's where this star is, okay? So I put a star right where $6.35 trillion is. So we're not done with quantitative tightening. It's actually going to continue, and we originally thought it was going to end in May. Well, this report is saying that they're pushing back this expected drawdown. And now we have to wait until June, right? They eye June as the end to quantitative tightening. So this isn't great, right? This means that all of our alt seasons probably going to be delayed for a couple more months. And if you actually look at the altcoin season index, this chart here shows us when altcoin season has officially taken off. Historically, this metric needs to be at 75 before we're in altcoin season. Right now, we're at like 48, right? So yeah, 48.9. We're nowhere near altcoin season. You can see in December, we were pretty heated, right? We were at, 85, which is great. The beginning of December, right? This is the first week in December. The market was rocking. Bitcoin hit an all-time high of 108,000. So this was really, really good. So altcoin season likely delayed a couple months, but there's actually more bad news coming, right? I really like this chart. The green line is the US money supply. Sometimes you'll hear this as M2, and the white is national debt. And if you actually scroll in, just for some historical context, the green line, the money supply, is typically more than the US national debt, right? But that's not the case. Our national debt, if you really zoom in on this, it's actually increased the green line, which is the US money supply. Another way to interpret this is the US just isn't printing money right now. We are very much in a quantitative tightening phase, which again, not good for risk assets and specifically altcoins. Unfortunately, I think it kind of gets worse. So today, ADP non-farm payrolls came in, and it was worse, or not as good as estimated. So we were estimated to be at 139,000. It actually came in at 122,000. So a weaker non-farm payroll. And this isn't good because if you just Google what's the relationship between non-farm payrolls and the unemployment rate, there's a negative correlation, right? So when non-farm payrolls increase, i.e. more jobs are added, the unemployment rate typically decreases. Well, guess what? Non-farm payrolls went down, weaker than expected. So if this inverse relationship is true, if non-farm payrolls went down, unemployment's probably going to go up, right? We know that unemployment probably isn't great for Bitcoin. So the unemployment data releases Friday, and the unemployment expected rate, it's kind of all over the place. People are projecting between 4.2 and 4.3, right? You got one person who says 4.4. Gosh, I hope that's not the case. Majority of folks are 4.2 and 4.3. If we stay at 4.2, we're probably going to be good on Bitcoin, right? The market's going to do what we want. If it's higher, if it's 4.3 or 4.4, risk assets are likely going to crash. So I'll keep an eye out on this on Friday. I'm obviously going to keep you guys informed. That's why you sub, because you guys get awesome info in a timely manner. The unemployment rate is expected to be at 4.2. So watch this data. It comes out Friday morning. And you can see right here, this is the unemployment right now. So we're in January 2025. We're going to be getting December 2024's data. So we're going to be watching this. This is very, very much going to affect the markets on Friday. My past few videos, I've been saying this is going to be a volatile week with all of the data that we have coming out. Last thing we're going to talk about is Ripple. Ripple's CEO and their main lawyer met with Daddy Trump, President-elect Trump. You know, I historically, I haven't been a big Ripple guy, but gosh, these guys go down swinging. And it actually really is that they have a pro-crypto president in their corner. Pictures like this go a long way, and their track record goes a long way too. They've actually, they didn't bow down to the SEC when they attacked them. They went all in. So I'm actually watching XRP. Right now, I don't have a position, but honestly, I might start a small position because I wouldn't be surprised if they did kind of start to tick back up. So this is a 4-hour chart. Obviously, we had that big jump kind of just in a, you could kind of call this in some ways a descending channel. These are some ugly lines I'm drawing. They're not perfect, but I think they kind of tell a picture, kind of tell a story. So we'll see, you know, can we break out of this channel? This is not a pretty channel, but can we break out of this? And if we do, we'd probably be in the 240s area. So I'm going to be watching this. If you guys got any value out of this, consider hitting the like button and subscribing, and I'll see you guys on my next video.